Morning, everybody. So in today's vlog, I want to talk about if you're in your spiritual journey and you're in this like phase of where you feel stuck and you feel like you've absorbed all this knowledge, you've listened to so many podcasts and YouTube videos, and you've read so many books, but you feel stuck. We all go through this, and I'm going to read you something from The Eye of the I. This is Dr. David Hawkins' book. I have all his books. He, in my opinion, he was like the best spiritual guru of our time, actually. So, anyways, he says, consciousness, the way to God, the intellect. The risk in providing information is that the listener's ego will try to assimilate the information as data by the intellect, and there it stops. So the minute you begin to acquire information in your spiritual journey, the ego already has its paws on it and is turning that information into intellect. And that's okay for a little while. For a little while, we need to do that, right? It plays its place. But let me read on. So he says, and there it stops. There are spiritual students who have attended literally hundreds of workshops and lectures and have rooms full of spiritual books, but have not moved forward in awareness at all. They are at a standstill. Their search goes on to the next workshop and the next book, the next guru, and so on. Spiritual work is not of the intellect. This is actually the first kind of scare that you give your ego. That is why your ego will grasp on to all of the spiritual knowledge that you're collecting, and it needs to turn it into information that you then have to analyze. The ego does that on purpose because the ego's here to survive, right? And by learning more and expanding your consciousness, you put that ego in fear. So it takes that as it takes the information and makes you think that you're processing it as intellect, but you can't do anything with intellect. What are you going to do with all this information? True metaphysics is an abstraction to facilitate languaging and verbalization in order to communicate that which in truth cannot be communicated in words. And this is so true. Like the things that I have been doing, experiencing, feeling, all the things in the past like 20 years, I couldn't put words to them. I really like when I do these vlogs, or even as I write my book, it's really hard to put into words what the higher mind looks like, because you are using your higher mind when you're going through and experiencing spirituality. All right, so cannot be communicated in words. The words are not the things to be realized. The truths learned have to be put into daily practice to be effective, and they exist beyond the words. This is so true. This is so, so true. The things that you put into your daily practice, like for example, mine in the beginning was just be grateful. I'm going to be grateful for everything today. And from that gratefulness came humility. It grows like that. You have to put it into practice. If this is done, change takes place. The purpose of information is for it to be absorbed with familiarity and then mature into understanding. So what he's saying at the end is, once you have your daily practice, this daily practice will become familiar. And then once it becomes familiar, and I'll give you an example of that too. Once it becomes familiar, then it matures into understanding. And I'll read you the part on understanding tomorrow. But going back to once it becomes familiar. So for me, once I started giving gratitude to everything, the next part was I started becoming humble. And then I just came to this understanding, which we'll talk more about tomorrow. I came more to this understanding that the little things are what matter. All this bullshit that people run around wasting their time on, it's freaking useless. Like, for example, you know, I have neighbors now that love a perfect lawn. You know, their garden has to be perfectly weeded. And when the seasons turn, the leaves fall, they've got to rake the leaves off right away. But if you actually just leave everything, yeah, it's gonna look messy, but that's your ego telling you that it looks less. I have a huge grapevine right in front of me here. I'm gonna turn this around and see if, I don't know if I can. Can I turn it around? Can I flip it? I'm gonna show you. I don't know if you can see my growth. Sorry, it was really windy last night. That's why there's towels there. But there's my grapevine. The grapevine shed a lot of leaves. And even this, I'm doing this vlog and it's messy out there. Is it bothering me? I'm gonna go pick it up today for sure. But here's the thing. I allowed the leaves on that grapevine to fall. Did they create a soppy mess? Because it started raining, the weather changed, the seasons changed. Yeah, it created a mess. But then I let the seasons take care of it. The wind came, the leaves went falling to the ground. Okay, now I'm allowing the leaves to just do what they're supposed to do with the soil. Does it look messy? Yeah. Even my twigs from the grapevine, I had to cut it back a little bit. I'm allowing the twigs to just do what they need to do in interaction with the soil. I am leaving it alone. Have I done that in the past? No, I hated weeds. No, I needed to be out there and plucking all of the leaves. Or not the leaves, sorry, the weeds. This is what the actual practice of spirituality does. I could explain this in words because I thought about it before I did this vlog and I've experienced it. Do my neighbors think I'm lazy and I need to clean up the yard and I need to do what they do? Yeah. So do I go through a ton of ridicule? Yeah. But I know that I'm just allowing nature to take its course. And I only know that through practicing metaphysics daily. I only know it through humility, through gratefulness. And gratefulness started for me first with Mother Nature. Life, like, okay, I'm actually grateful for my life. I was never grateful for my life. I was too busy running, hustling, chasing, busy doing things. So just being grateful for myself and my life was a big, it took years to even get there. And then gratefulness for Mother Nature. And then, you know what? I'm not gonna be like the minions everywhere, even though I'm dressed like one today. I'm going to just let Mother Nature take her course, and I'm gonna let the seasons do what they want with my yard. And I had better soil, you know, than everybody else was buying soil in the beginning of the year to get out their vegetables. Me, maybe one bag, that's it. maybe one bag, because I allowed the leaves to just really warm up the ground and then just disintegrate into, yeah, did I have to turn the soil? Yeah, I had to do that. I had to help a little bit because it gets cold here. It's the little things. And people do not practice that, and then they wonder why they're stagnant. So if you're stagnant, really start practicing metaphysics. Do it your own way. I started with gratitude, and it brought me to humility, which has brought me an understanding of way more things. But start in little ways. Love you guys.